Hi guys, Miss King here. Just a quick lesson on direct and inverse variation. So, direct variation is normally in linear format, or it is in linear format. The variables x and y vary directly if for a constant k, y over x is equal to k, or y is equal to kx, where k does not equal to 0. If k equals to 0, that obviously eliminates the x variable, and then you don't have an equation. Okay. Direct variation is also as one variable increases, so too does the other. So both variables are increasing together, or directly proportionally. Using direct variation, I'm going to solve the following example. So when x is equal to 2, y is equal to 4, find an equation that relates x and y in each case. So we know that they vary directly, so we're going to work out our solution. So I'm going to write the direct variation model, which on the other page was y is equal to kx, and I'm going to substitute in my values. So my y is 4, my k is the one that I need to know for the equation. I don't know it yet, so I'm going to leave it as k, and my x is 2. When I bring my 2 over, it becomes divide, so k is equal to 4 divided by 2, so k is equal to 2. So my equation then is y is equal to 2x. And then I'm going to just quickly check that back in my original. So if I do y is equal to 2x and I plug in my x is 2, so 2 times 2 is 4, which is what my y value is, so I know I've done it correctly. Okay, next example. So an equation is a direct variation if its graph is a line that passes through 0, so it has to pass through the origin. That's extremely important. It must go through the origin, and it can be written in the form y is equal to kx. Examples of direct variation. So we've got a table of values with x and y variables. Note that x increases, so 6, 7, 8, and y also increases 12, 14, 16. So as one increases, so does the other. Therefore, they're in direct variation. What is the constant of variation of the table above? So we're just going to check out that their constant is the same, and if their constant is the same, then they're directly proportionate, or direct. They vary directly to each other. So I'm going to do y over x is equal to k, and hopefully I'll get the same answer every time. So my first y is 12, so I'm going to go with that. So 12, and my first x is 6, so 12 divided by 6 is 2. So I'm hoping that my k is going to be 2 every time. I'm going to take my second row, so it's 14, my y is 14, my x is 7, which is also 2, so therefore I can say that they vary directly. So x and y vary directly. So y varies directly to x. So our x is our independent variable and our y is our dependent, so we say that y varies to x. Okay. For this one, same idea. I'm going to work out my constant, and if it's the same for all the different rows, then I can state that the variables are varying directly. So to work out my constant of variation, I'm going to do y divided by x. So if I take my first row, I get negative 1 over negative 4, which is equal to 1/4. If I take my second row, I get negative 4 over negative 16, which is also equal to 1/4. So I can see that there's definitely a constant variation. So again, y varies directly to x. And this little symbol just means that it varies directly. Okay. In the last two questions, we were trying to find the constant of proportionality, which was the k value. So once we've done that, we can now apply it and find other missing values. So given that y varies directly with x, and y is equal to 28 and x is equal to 7, find x when y is equal to 52. So what I've done is I've put it in a table, because that's what we were used to looking at from the other ones. So if x is 7, then y is 28. X is what I'm trying to find, and I know my y is 52. So I'm going to find my constant, and we know that they vary directly already, so it has to be y is equal to kx. So that's how I'm going to find my k. So the first step is to find the k. So my y over x is what's going to give me my k. So I get y is 28, so 28 over 7 is equal to k, so therefore k k is equal to 4. So my equation for this is y is equal to 4x, and now I can just substitute that in to find the missing variable, which is the x. So if y is 52, and that's equal to 4 times x, I can bring my 4 across and it'll become divide to work out my x. So it's x is equal to 52 divided by 4, so x is equal to 13. And I've just worked out what my x value was. Okay. Pretty straightforward. On to another example. This time we're trying to find y. Last time we were finding x. So again, I know that my constant is y over x is equal to k. So my y value is 6, my x value is -5, and that's going to give me my k value. So my k value is 6 over -5, and then I can plug in that into my equation. So my equation is y is equal to 6 over -5 x, and I'll plug in the one that I know, which is my x. So y is equal to 6 over -5 on -8, and that's going to be -8 times 6 is -48 all over 5. So that is equal to negative 48 over -5, and the two negatives cancel out, so I'm just going to be left with 5 goes into 48 9 times, with 3 left over, so 9 3/5, which is also equal to 9.6. So my x value is -8, my y value is 9.6. Okay. So now we've got a problem with words, so how to actually apply direct variation in context. So a car uses 8 gallons of gasoline to travel 290 miles. So how much gasoline will the car use to travel 400 miles? So as the mileage increases, the amount of gallons of gasoline that's going to be used is also going to increase. So I know that it's varying directly. So I know that my y over my x is going to give me my k. So my y is going to be 290 all over my 8, which is going to give me my constant rate, my constant proportionality. And that's going to be the number of miles I get per gallon, basically. Okay, and it's not going to change. So 8 goes into 29 3 times with 5 left over. 8 goes into 56 times with 2 left over. So hang on a second, just need to write this down. So k is going to be equal to, so 8 goes into 29 3 times with 5 left over. 8 goes into 56 times with 2 left over. 8 goes into 20 twice with 4 left over, and 8 will go into 45 times. So my constant rate of proportionality, or my k, is 36.25, and that's going to be the gallons of gasoline travelled, the miles travelled per gallon of gasoline. Okay, and if I'm working out the number of miles, I'm going to do y is equal to kx. So if it's 400 is my y, 36.25 on my x. To work out my x, I have to divide them. So 400 divided by 36.25 is going to give me, so it's going to give me 11.03 rounded to 2 decimal places. So just think about that and put the answer into context. So if I'm doing 290 miles on 8 gallons, then I would expect my 400 miles to use more gasoline, which is 11.03 gallons. Okay. Next example, Julio's wages, in fact that should be Julio's wages, vary directly as the number of hours that he works. If his wages for 5 hours are $29.75, how much will they be for 30 hours? So again, it's my y over my x is going to give me my constant rate, or my hourly wage. So my y is 29.75 all over 5, which is equal to my k. So therefore my k is equal to $5.95. So he's getting $5.95 per hour. That's my constant rate, so it doesn't change. So if I want to work out how much he'll get after 30 hours, I have to do y is equal to kx, so it's y is equal to 5.95 for 30 hours. So y is going to be equal to $178.50. Okay, so we get the idea of varying directly. So again, the number of hours that you work, as that increases, so too do your wages. So if you're working 30 hours, you expect to be paid more, which is 178.70. Okay, inverse variation then is basically as one variable increases, the other decreases. So variables x and y inverse or vary inversely if for a constant k, k over x is equal to y, or x times y is equal to k. And k again cannot be equal to 0. When x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 4, find an equation that relates x and y in each case. So I'm going to have my k is equal to my x times my y. So my k is equal to 2 times 4, which is equal to 8. So my equation then is going to be y is equal to 8x. Okay. So the equation can be written in the form y is equal to k over x. So direct was k times x. Inverse is y equals k divided by x. So the graph for this model is a curve that gets closer and closer to the x-axis as x increases, and closer and closer to the y-axis as x gets closer to 0. So as y goes down, x increases. Given that y varies inversely with x and y is equal to negative 30 when x is negative 3, find y when x is equal to 8. So again, I'm trying to find my constant variation, so I've already got that in here. So it's k is equal to xy, so I plug that in, so it's negative 3 times negative 30, which will give me positive 90. So my constant is positive 90, and then my equation is going to be y is equal to k over x, so it's going to be y is equal to 90 over x. And then going back here, so 90 is equal to xy, so 90 is equal to 8 times y, because I know my 8 is my x value, so I'm trying to find my y, and I get 1125. Okay, you can give that one a go on your own, so you might need to pause me and work it out, and we'll go through it in class tomorrow. And there's one more question that I'd like you to do. I'm just going to skip on, so you'll need to pause me and go back. And this is a worded question. Again, it's inversely, so just remember your steps. Okay guys, best of luck.